Greetings, geeks. This is Rose with GeekToMeCrafts, where I help you source affordable craft supplies as well as provide tutorials and DIYs. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you, and I hope that you get some value out of this. If you do, please leave a comment and subscribe. So today I will be putting together some gift baskets and assembling some other items. You can stay tuned and watch me assemble some gifts and jewelry and orders that I have received through my eBay shop. That link is below if you're interested in checking that out. And so most of these supplies are from Dollar Tree. And I will also try my best to link the items below in the comments. So that you can get an idea of some of the items that I was making there, like the ornament and the link for the jewelry and the masks. So here I am cutting my own fabric. I have a pattern for a face mask that's in a ninja style, and I have it available for baby all the way up to extra large adult. I had a friend contact me and say that she needed a mask for her 2-year-old, which normally in our state we don't have to have a mask for a child that young, but she is flying and she has to have on a mask. So I am going through my fabric stash here and just kind of picking out some things. My only directive was to make it girly. So I'm looking through some of my baby materials here. Those rolls of fabric I did get at Dollar Tree. And then I'm just kind of sifting through some of the other items that I have in my stash. I get my fabrics from a variety of places and I never spend too much on it. The licensed prints I did purchase during the, great pandemic of 2020, but most of the rest of it was from secondhand shops. It could have been from a thrift store, could have been from one of my favorite stores. That store is called Scraps Casey. I will put in a card right here so that you can click that video and watch that one where I take you to the place called Scraps Casey. And I'm just putting the pattern over the fabric. I do a four ply when I cut my pieces. So that way I'm spending less time cutting, and then that creates a double-sided mask, which helps with filtering and a variety of other things. So my machine isn't too fancy, it's just a Singer Confidence, and I had to purchase this one again during the pandemic because my old one gave out, and so I'm just running them through and chain piecing the pieces together. I do the seam down the middles first, and then I sew them with right sides together so that I have a front and a back piece. And then I also cut the elastic for the ear bands myself as well. So those can be completely customizable. Right here, I am putting together an order for a customer on eBay. She has purchased a snitch ornament. No, a Snitch Necklace. I do make ornaments as well, but this one is a necklace. And so I take the post and I twist it around my needle nose pliers that are smooth and variegated, and I create that little shape. It catches on the golden bead at the bottom so that it will stay put and in place. I get those beads at Joann's. And then I put the post further down on the needle nose pliers to make a bigger loop. And I will grab the rest of my supplies. So for this project, I'm going to also need a pair of silver tone wings. These are inspired by the Harry Potter series. I have been making snitch necklaces and ornaments for several years now. This year, popularity hasn't been as high. I'm guessing that people are just kind of focused on other things. But I did have a sale for this item this year. It is one of my favorites for sure. And again, I did link that down below. So I used 2 sets of pliers to work apart my jump rings, and I do the double width jump rings because the single width tend to separate more often, and then I am losing charms, I'm losing chain. It's just more of a pain to deal with the easier jump rings. So these are basically mini key rings. I separate them with my pliers, and then splitting them apart like this, I'm just feeding it through the larger loop that I made at the top of the snitch. I'm going to do the same thing with the other wing. So I once again have to apologize for the state of my fingernails and hands. I am having to use a ton of hand sanitizer, and I'm washing my hands a whole bunch because my main job is as a teacher. And so being around people and kids all day means that I have dry, cracked hands, and I just cannot get on top of it. I also, you know that old saying about how the painter's house always needs painting? Yeah, that's the state of my hands have always been a little bit rough. So I like to create things and make things pretty, but my hands are just unfortunately not one of those things. So once the wings are on, I'm going to grab a third jump ring, split it apart, and add it to the center between the two wing jump rings. And you'll see why in just a second. So my chain is, any length is fine with me. I don't charge extra for cutting longer chain. So typically the average chain length is about 18 inches in standard measure. And if no one specifies on the order, that's how I cut my chain. But the benefit of cutting my own chain is that if a customer needs it shorter or longer, then I can easily do that. And it's no inconvenience to me or anybody else because, you know, I'm cutting it anyway. So I'm going to grab 2 more jump rings and a lobster claw connector, and I'm going to attach one jump ring to one end and then a jump ring and the lobster claw clasp on the other end. And I've done this so many times, before you put both jump rings on, make sure that it has been fed through the charm itself, because otherwise you're cutting it off and doing it again. So if you're a Harry Potter fan, leave me a comment below. Let me know what house you're in. I am a proud representative of the House of Ravenclaw. I love books. I went to school to be a teacher because I like to read books and talk about books. I teach children about how to read every day, and my shop is even themed around the amazing stories that come out. Okay, so I am now going to feed the chain through the third jump ring on the charm and close it up. If you're not a Harry Potter fan, let me know what your favorite book is below in the comments. I try to respond to as many people as I possibly can, so I enjoy interacting with you all. Okay, here she is done. It does take a little bit of finagling, and I just really like how the wings hang really loosely on either side. And so the way that I package my items is I slip them inside of a tiny bag that closes, and then I also make my own gift boxes. So I've just taken cardstock and put hot glue on the end of one side, folded it over so that it sticks, and then you can see here when you pop it open, it creates a little pillow box. So the way you get the ends to stay is I just grab my scissors and I cut little indentions on either side. I also do the same thing on the other end. And then I use the sharp end of my scissors to score an oval shape, mirroring the curved edge on both sides. So I'll do that 4 times. Once there, flip it over, score it again, and then on the other end. I don't know how I got into making the pillow boxes. I think it was just economy. I really liked collecting craft paper, but I don't scrapbook anymore, so I had tons of this stiff paper sitting around and no way to package my at the time it was Etsy items. So I started making these and people have loved them. So then you just fold down one end and then the other one on top of it. I pop my item inside I like this paper because it's double-sided. Not all of them are like that, but this particular pack was. And then I slip the item in and then pop the ends down one more time. I really hope you enjoyed watching this. If you want to see more jewelry tutorials, leave me a comment below. And again, if you got value out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you.